ever evacuated in my life. We had talked about it. We've been up here for 43 years. And we had talked about, so what if the mountain burns?
I had to leave my cats. They wouldn't get in the crate, so that's not a good thing.
Fear, heartbreak, confusion. Some of the emotions thousands of people in our area are feeling right now. That fast-moving and devastating wildfire just tore a swath of destruction. The Caldor Fire started just a few days ago. In that time, at least 50 homes have been leveled, many of them in the Grizzly Flats area.
But thousands more homes are at risk right now. At least 6,800 people had to evacuate this morning. Take a look at these images from Mormon Immigrant Trail just hours ago. Here you can see fire on both sides of the road. This video was sent in by our own Van 2, who was out at the scene last night. Trees are on fire and at risk of falling over and then blocking the road.
We want to show you this map now. You can see the evacuation orders in effect as we speak. That's everything between Mormon Immigrant Trail and Highway 88. This affects a massive area south of Highway 50, including the entire town of Pollock Pines. Areas on all sides of the road. Governor Newsom has issued a state of emergency in El Dorado County, which should free up additional resources. Right now, there's just one evacuation center left that's taking people in, the Cameron Park Community Services District on Country Club Drive. That, of course, in Cameron Park. Green Valley Church in Placerville and the Diamond Springs Fire Hall are full.
And we're getting questions about where animals can go. Well, the Amador County Fairgrounds in Plymouth is accepting large animals. Now, to shelter small animals, you can contact El Dorado County Animal Services. The number is on your screen, 530-621-5795. Take a look at this map as well. It shows you why these evacuation orders are in place. The red dots are points of intense heat. This is essentially where the flames are burning. The fire is spreading north and west right now. And around 2 this morning, the fire appeared to reach Highway 50. That's one of the main routes being cleared for evacuees. Now, fortunately, fire crews on the scene are now saying that the fire has not reached the highway, but it's dangerously close to Pollock Pines. It's burned more than 22,000 acres with no containment right now. There's a lot going on here, so we do have team coverage for you. ABC 10's Carly Gomez is standing by at Cameron Park Shelter. It's one of the few places, as we mentioned, that evacuees can go.
First, though, ABC 10's Zach Fuentes is tracking the fight to save communities from the flames. Zach is in Pollock Pines.
And Pollock Pines is one of the communities that they are working so hard to help save. There's not much activity going on here because of the mandatory evacuations. Right now, this gas station behind me is one of the only things that's open. They told me that once they're closed, you know that Pollock Pines is in trouble because for over 30 years, they have stayed open during situations like this. I'll show you some video right now of how it was yesterday when residents found out how close the fire was coming to Pollock Pines and just at how high of a risk they were at. People were flooding to this gas station as they were coming down to Highway 50, trying to clear the area. And many people waited out here in their cars and at the Safeway across the street before they had the mandatory evacuations. Now here, as mandatory evacuations were issued, as sheriff's personnel came through with their megaphones, bullhorns, telling people to leave, is Jeff Madera. You're still here. Tell us what happened that really got people to leave.
It started real early because people are just aware of how bad fires can be up here, and there was still a few holdouts. And then once the sheriff came through here on the PA system and hitting the sirens, and it was like, this is mandatory. We're not asking anymore. They really needed to get people out of here. And that's when they cleared out the Safeway parking lot. This place cleared out, and they just let us stay because of what we're doing with the radios.
Yeah, and you've been monitoring a lot of things. What have you been hearing?
The last few hours, what we're hearing, they're got shuttles that are bringing fire people in, and then they're moving a lot of equipment. We're hearing a lot of traffic of trucks moving around, and we should be here any next few minutes. We should be seeing some aircraft overhead, so we'll be listening for those too.
And you also come from this, for the perspective of being a Pollock Pines resident, your home at risk. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, that's a tough one. About 2 years ago, everybody up here lost their fire insurance. You cannot get fire insurance up here. And I made the final payment on my mortgage 4 months ago. So I'm a little nervous. Let's just put it that way.
Understandably so. Have you heard from any friends? Their homes okay?
So far, haven't heard of anybody that I know losing a house. My parents live a little bit farther down the hill. They had to evacuate, and they had to actually go quite a ways into Sacramento just to find a hotel room. Everybody's left. So, yeah, hopefully we're going to keep the number of houses that go up to a real minimum, but Grizzly Flat is gone from what we've been heard.
Yeah, and we've seen those images, tragic images. We're wishing you the best, Jeff. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And like you heard him say, so many people trying to get out, people trying to find hotel rooms because many of the evacuation centers are full. Carly Gomez is at the Cameron Park Evacuation Center. Carly, what are you seeing and hearing there this morning?
Yeah, Zach, a lot of people looking for a place to stay, like you mentioned. And you know, a lot of these centers have been getting full overnight. This one actually became a full shelter overnight, and some people sleeping in their cars, their trucks, their trailers. I'm here with Steve Walsh right now, who is helping to manage all of this. Tell me about what it was like yesterday, setting this up and what everyone was going through.
Well, the good thing about the Red Cross is we're able to do this very quickly. I mean, we've been training for this all year round, last year, etc. So when the county tells us we need a shelter, we're ready to go. And they had the doors open, you know, within a few hours last night. And as you said, by around 8 o'clock last night, this site was full.
Yeah. And are we looking at potentially getting more shelters open soon now that more mandatory evacuations are being issued?
I mean, potentially is the word, right? So we work with our county partners, and when they tell us, you know, we need to expand based on the fire behavior, we have teams that are on standby that are ready to do just what they did last night, which is get there quickly, get the doors open, and get these people their immediate needs met as soon as possible.
And what are some of these immediate needs that you guys are providing for some of these evacuees?
Well, it's actually pretty simple to remember. So when somebody evacuates, you know, if they leave things behind, etc., we're here to make sure they have a safe place to sleep, something to eat, food, and then access to information, you know, as we get it and we share it with them.
And how does it work? I mean, if we have medical issues, we have pills we need, things like that.
Again, partnerships. So we have trained volunteers on staff to, you know, check in on everybody, see what they need, and obviously if their needs exceed what we can provide here, we would obviously refer them to medical professionals off-site.
Thank you so much, Steve Walsh. And yeah, like he mentioned, we could see potentially more shelters opening up as the demand is there and more evacuation orders are being issued. And Rob, you are tracking all of the weather conditions for today. Are we looking at that potential to see more evacuations?
We certainly could because, you know, while the wind shifts today on both of the big fires, there will be some benefits. There will be some communities that will breathe a sigh of relief, and there will be other communities that will start to get more nervous as the fire starts coming toward them. So let's go ahead and take you through a couple things. Yeah, this is what it looked like yesterday morning, right around 8 o'clock. And when it looks like this that early, you know it's going to be a rough day. So those are some of the things we'll be watching on the cams later on this morning. The sun's just starting to come up, so we'll see how the fire behavior is. What I can tell you about yesterday is, again, this is these maps that are very helpful to show you where the communities are and where the fire has been moving in general. Now, I threw on the arrow because that's the wind direction I expect later on this afternoon. Even though it's going downhill at the moment, the wind should shift and do a complete 180 within the next, I would say, 3 to 4 hours, and that's going to take it away from Pollock Pines, Sly Park, for the most part. Remember, there's local winds, there's terrain that it's going to follow, there's things that are happening, and the firefight is not over, neither is the danger, but where a lot of the extreme fire behavior is should be moving closer to the community of Kybers and more off to the east. Pollock Pines has terrible air quality. Tahoe Basin is socked in with smoke, so that's another story that is worth following as the smoke and haze will be spreading out. The only good I can tell you about today is that at least this morning it's colder, and that will help the firefight, at least for some containment areas, trying to get some lines in this morning, because later on today, red flag conditions, another tough day ahead weather-wise.